Have you ever heard that we don't see with our eyes? Well, it's true. The eyes are the receivers of the visual information. We see with our brains because we recognize what we see based on knowledge and past experience, and these pictures are constructed in our brains. Building pictures in our brains of what is out there is essential to guide us safely through life. This is also effectively how we solve problems and come up with realistic new ideas. We construct solutions using knowledge. We call this brain activity abstraction. We will explore abstraction using 4 insights. The first begs us to consider the following. To guide us safely through life, we need to build accurate internal representations of the outside world, a world consisting of a variety of different representations. We will consider 2 important forms, the physical, space and time, and the emotional, feelings and thought patterns predictive of social behavior. Your brain has a wonderfully intricate operating system that allows you to build accurate pictures of what is out there and to integrate these into a holistic, multi-sensory compilation. And the more we know, the more sophisticated this picture becomes. The depth and wealth of this integrated sensory information is what we use to solve problems and to innovate. This brings us to the second insight, namely, knowledge forms the building blocks of innovation. The more you know, the more innovative you can be. And the more creatively you can solve problems and fashion new products that are adaptive for the group. Knowledge also forms the foundation of the problem-solving machine. This is why learning and skills development are so important for both individual brain performance and effective organizational performance. The third insight explains how the brain uses knowledge. The innovative process starts by making use of knowledge of the subject matter. Your brain then uses these building blocks of knowledge to create realistic scenarios of the possible. Many different permutations are created in a continuous process of enrichment and sophistication along a brain pathway connecting the long-term memory sites with the prefrontal cortex. This brain pathway is called the dorsolateral pathway, also known as the brain's superhighway. Let's simplify the process for our own understanding. Building blocks of knowledge are sourced from long-term memory sites. Realistic scenarios of the possible are created along the dorsolateral pathway, where they are delivered to the prefrontal cortex, and where the most sophisticated sorting takes place. Through a very complicated process called divergence and convergence, the solution becomes both sophisticated and simplified. A final insight is that the prefrontal cortex is the area of the brain where the most sophisticated problem-solving and innovation takes place. There are in fact 2 major areas for innovation in the prefrontal cortex: the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, where the problem-solving machine converges, and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, where the emotional drivers assign value to potential solutions, screening out many of these possibilities if they don't satisfy the brain's emotional needs. This screening process takes place in the unconscious during the process of abstraction, all for a wonderfully energy-efficient process of innovation. Abstraction is at the heart of problem solving, and it can be enhanced as a key higher order driver for innovation, a major condition for thriving. This makes enhancing abstraction capabilities a priority for organizational leadership. In short, our brains build internal representations of the outside world. The more we know, the more sophisticated this multi-sensory compilation becomes, and the better we can use it to solve problems. Knowledge forms the building blocks of innovation. The brain employs this knowledge on its superhighway, creating realistic possible scenarios, and delivers them to the prefrontal cortex for sophisticated sorting. It is a back and forth process of divergence and convergence to eventually arrive at a solution that is sophisticated, yet simple enough to execute. Fueling your abstraction capabilities is key to surpassing what you believe you are capable of achieving.